Hi guys, thank you for tuning in to Entrepreneurs Monday. My name is Ken and I'm your host for this section itself. So today we are very lucky to have Hao joining us for this interview. He runs a creative agency and we would like to get him to share some of his experiences with us. So without any delay, let's get to it. Hello, good afternoon, Hao. Thank you so much for joining us in this interview. So, without any further ado, maybe perhaps you might want to take 1 or 2 minutes to introduce yourself as well as your business to our audiences over here.
Hi everybody. My name is Hao. So I run a creative agency called Black Mongrels. So at Black Mongrels, we tell stories and create meaningful conversations through good holistic design for a diverse range of industries.
Okay, sure. So, perhaps maybe you might want to elaborate a little bit more and share with maybe our audiences. For example, like what is the origin of your story? How did you end up becoming an entrepreneur? And maybe share a little bit more in terms of how you started and why you started.
Yeah, so I major in visual communications back in NTU. So that was, I think I graduated in 2010. 2010.
Mm,
So at the point of time, as a fresh grad, you are very keen to explore everything lah, everything. So I tried a few various places, advertising firms, design studios, so on and so forth. And then I think after a year or two, I think that's where my ex partner, we had this talk lah about what can we do in the future.
mm,
So and then this is where the opportunity during that time came about, this discussion. Why not we start doing something together and try to make a difference lah, in our line of business.
I see. I see.
So so I will consider myself a very accidental entrepreneur lah, because I have no intention to start my own agency so early.
Mm,
I think everything just fell at the right time, right time, right place.
mm,
Then we decided to just take a leap of faith lah. Mm.
mm. Okay. So meaning to say before you started your business, you were actually working for some other agencies in the
Yes,
same line as well.
we as in the same industry was working in some big and small boutique studio agencies like so I had a good taste of what is it like working in a MMC, so to speak, and then what is it like working in a boutique local agency.
I see. I see. So as compared to some other entrepreneurs who probably didn't work in any companies before, you did work in some agencies. Perhaps maybe as compared to those entrepreneur, uh, do you find this an advantage to you, or do you find this kind of like a disadvantage because you started a little bit later than your counterparts?
Yeah, I think there are pros and cons lah. I think if you were to start being an entrepreneur without any prior experience, you will have to learn everything on the job lor. You learn everything on the
Mm,
job. It might it might sometimes you might be lucky, sometimes you might not be lucky, and then because of that so-called lack of real world experience, you might take a longer time to get to where you want to be, as compared to if you have some prior experience. Not saying that it will be smoother, you will still have challenges, but
mm,
the only setback is it will be later lah, because you start later than your peers who venture into being an entrepreneur of sorts. So I think there are pros and cons, but I personally feel that it's always good to have some real world experience first. At least you get to experience in your particular industry what is it like out there first,
mm.
before you try to bring in what you think can be better for your own company. Yeah.
I see. I see. Is there one thing that you would like to share? What was the greatest skill or asset that you have gotten from your employment that you were able to bring to your entrepreneurship?
I think in my line of skill, I think as a creative, I think we have to be very good with our technical skills in terms of the program as well as our conceptualization skills, which is our creative thinking. So
Mm,
I think during employment, that is where this skill set comes in very handy when I bring over to being my own boss, because during the employment, your bosses, your creative directors train you hard enough to have to make you a better person. Especially for me in the world of the creative, it, the all the exercises and projects makes you more wholesome lah. And then when you do your own thing, I think this is a good learning skill that I can bring over to my agency and start to slowly build from there.
I
Yeah.
see. I see. Okay, sure. So because you have been already been quite experienced in your industry, working with agencies and then started your own business, is it kind of like a pretty smooth journey for you, like a smooth transit from being an employee and then after that becoming an entrepreneur and then everything is quite smooth? Or is there any hiccups in between? Kind of like one of the objective of this session is to also share with viewers, right? If let's say they go on this path, an entrepreneurship path, what are some of the challenges that they may face? And if you will be kind of like willing to share, maybe you would like to share with us one of the most challenging thing that happened to you, and maybe one of the darkest moment that you had during this journey itself, and then how you overcome that.
Yeah, I think one of the most challenging things, regardless of any industry, I feel is always about the networking and the opportunities, because you might have the talent, you might have the skill set, you might be very good at what you do, but if you don't have the right opportunity or the right network, it will take you a very long while to advance in your career lah, or as to advance in your company lah, so to speak. So I think one of the biggest challenge for us, me and my ex-partner back then, was that we know we have the capability to do what the market demands, what the industry demands. But I think starting out is the lack of contact, lah, the lack of
Mm,
opportunities. Like, how do we market ourselves to let people know that, hey, we are an upcoming young and dynamic fresh team? How do we gain traction and gain the trust and confidence of prospects like that this young team, this young and upcoming team can deliver the works?
mm,
So I think that is always one of the challenges, where we just have to keep ourselves grounded, just keep doing what we are good at, and slowly let the work speak for itself, lor. So
I
I
see.
think over the years, I think this year is the seventh year of my agency.
Wow.
I started in 2013, 2013.
Mm.
So I think
Already crossed the 5 year mark already.
already crossed the 5 year mark. Yes, yes. I think the
Congratulations.
thank you. Thank you. I think they say the first 3 years is like foundation years.
Mm,
Foundation years, like how do you build up your brand, so to speak. Then maybe the fourth to fifth year is to maintain it. How
mm,
do you maintain it? And then after the fifth year onwards is how do you grow the brand now?
yeah.
Yeah, so I think first few years is really trying to make a name lah in the industry lah, for who we are, what we stand for, what are the kind of works we do.
Mm,
So that is one of the challenge. I wouldn't say it's the hardest challenge, because I think it's always a blessing when I feel that when we do good work, then the good people will come along the way. So
mm,
as you do the good work, your existing clients will refer you to their other networks and organizations, so on and so forth. So we are quite fortunate in that sense lah. Yeah.
okay. Okay. So allowing the customers to speak for your work and then get more referrals, word of mouth kind of thing. So
Yes.
maybe in summary, what I can conclude from your feedback is that some of the biggest challenge that you face is when you were new in the market, even despite having quite a number of years of experience in the working world, but when you start your own business, when you start to prospect your first client, people will still want to ask about your credibility. Can you really deliver? And then the problem is also getting to the first client, because sometimes being good enough and being skillful is just part of the equation. Another part is actually who you know, how do you get the correct network to introduce you to that correct audience who will buy your product itself. And then, of course, after you engage with that client, then are you able to deliver a good enough job until the person is willing to go out there and then kind of like be your loudspeaker and then sell for you and say that, hey, I work with this agency, is really not too bad. The pricing is good, the job is good as well, that kind of thing. Yeah.
Yes,
Okay.
correct.
Actually, I can totally relate to your part whereby the first 3 years, right, is kind of like really foundation work. So actually, when I first started my business, right, actually it feels like the first 3 years you work super hard. Every day you work like walao, like 8 hours, 10 hours, 12 hours, and then it feels like nothing is moving.
Yeah,
And
yeah,
then all
yeah.
your effort is like shit. I mean, what am I doing? I mean, am I doing the right thing? And then when you start to move into the second year, third year, fourth year, you start to realize that the people that you speak to 3 years ago or 2 years ago starts coming back to you and start to ask you, hey bro, are you still doing this? Are you still doing that? Do you do this? Do you do that? So actually a lot of entrepreneurs when they start, right, kind of like the first 1 2 years and then they give up. And if let's say they go through this cycle of start and give up, right, then you are not able to build a name for yourself. You're not able to allow other people to relate. Okay, if let's say we are talking about creative, then talk to How. If you're talking about IT, then go and talk to Ken, that kind of thing. So at each time when they come back to you, they realize that, oh, now you are doing something else. You're doing something different already. Then you cannot leverage on that
Correct.
thing that you built.
Correct. I think another thing to add on is I think you must believe in what you are doing lah. If you
Mm,
don't believe in what you are doing, that's where, like you mentioned, like some people just start a bit and then they don't see any traction and then they give up.
yeah.
Yeah.
I think that is really important. So viewers, if let's say you are going to start a business, ask yourself this question: do you believe in your product and services? If you do, keep at it, keep going. One day you will be able to achieve success, right? So maybe for How, you would you like to share, right, because just now you talk about sometimes getting to the correct people is actually through correct networks and correct knowing the correct people. Is this something that is there a formula to this? I mean, if let's say for example I'm a person who is very average, I don't come from a maybe successful family, my dad is not in business, I don't go to good schools, for example, like Hwa Chong, RGS, that kind of thing. So meaning to say, the people around me, we are all very average. So my friend's dad is also just another employee. So is there kind of like a formula or anything that you could share with our viewers? How can they get started? The first step to getting into a network, to know people, so that they can start that uh, relationship thing going.
I think there isn't a formula to this lah, because I think network or relationship building is not a formula where you can say, okay, if you do step A to step C, then you will achieve a result. I don't think it works that way lah. I think I think building relationships or networks, it also largely depend on you yourself as an individual. I know like some people, they are the super outgoing kind, very networking, they can talk about anything under the sun, so it's so called very easy for them to go and strike a conversation, that kind of stuff. Whereas for people like me, I belong to the kind where I don't really like networking because sometimes networking sessions can be very in a very, how should I put it, in a very like
Time
a
consuming.
salesy format, like people trying to sell you things, that kind of thing. So
Mm,
so I'm not into that kind of networking where it's not about the quantity of the number you meet lah. I think it's
mm,
about the quality of people you meet. So I think uh, if your product or service is good in the first place, slowly, people will start to get notice about you lah. Because you can be very good at networking, very good at talking, but at the end of the day, your product and or service must speak for itself lah.
mm.
So I think there is no formula. It's just ultimately I feel that your product or service must be the first thing that is the talking point. If it's not good, it doesn't matter like we are from a rich networking group or what, you know. So let the product speak for itself, and then slowly I feel that the network and the relationship will get there lah. And of course, I think also what helps is also being in your own community, like because I think every industry has their own sort of community groups lah. So I think it's good to be involved in some capacity, like join some of the industry events or what. Then slowly, you so called you network among your peers lah. But yeah, I think that is a good way to also network. Sometimes it's not just about networking with other people from other industry, but it's also good about networking with your own peers,
Mm.
so that maybe perhaps y'all can do a collaboration or things like that. Yeah.
Yeah, I think the last part there it was quite good about networking with people within the same industry. I think now in this economy is a little bit more like the more you can collaborate with your competitors, the better you are. And
Mm.
actually, in my I can understand from your perspective because for me, right, once when I started to work with my competitors, I went to my competitor and said that, hey, um, because like I mean, my industry is so big. I can do enterprise software from end to end, all the way from point of sale to CRM to warehousing, that kind of thing. So we made a decision whereby maybe point of sale we don't want to do. So then I went to my competitor and said, and I told them that, hey, I thought of maybe this portion we do want to do. Can I refer everything in this area to you? And then if let's say there's things that you don't want to do, that I think I would like to do, then you can refer them back to me. And then suddenly we formed that relationship whereby when I started referring deals to them, and when they start to be able to close, they start to trust me. And then they start to refer deals back to me also. So I can relate to that. Mm.
Yeah.
Could you recall like how did you close your first client? Where did your first client came from?
Oh, my first client. Wow.
Because I think this is actually the breakthrough that every entrepreneur got to go through, right? How to get that first client. I mean, everybody will have got a different story, but what is your story of your first client?
Yeah, I think my first client is okay because as creatives in our industry lah, sometimes we do. I mean, along the way when we have time, we will do freelancing.
Mm,
So freelancing for some companies here and there, some projects here and there. So for me, when I transit to being like starting my own agency, I reach out to my freelance clients loh, that hey, now that I am actually going to start my own agency, so maybe next time if there's any projects, we can still keep in touch and work something out lah. So I think for me that is that my entry of barrier is not that drastic lah, where I know like some people has totally no contact, then that is a bit hard. But for me, especially in this creative industry, most creatives, I would say, most creatives do some form of freelancing,
mm,
even while when they are being employed. So through this freelancing context, I still keep in touch with all of them. And then slowly, I just update them and say that, hey, I have this new thing coming out. Maybe we can do something together. And
I
then
see.
I think, yeah, and then so that's how my first first client come about lah. Yeah.
Mm. Okay, that's good. So in your previous company, there is no kind of like binding agreement saying that when you leave the service, you're not allowed to kind of like communicate with your ex clients, that kind of thing. So they keep it
Uh,
quite open for you guys.
there is. I
Mm,
think all industry there is. When you are employed, you are not supposed to so-called poach the
mm,
existing clients from your ex company lah. But
mm,
I think I I think that is not right also lah. So when I started my own thing, the freelance projects are projects from
from
not from outside. It's not from my ex company. So naturally, I start to build relationship from those freelance contacts instead.
I
Yeah.
see, I see. So viewers, if you're watching this, right, do take note that if let's say you're working in a company right now, do read through your agreement contract with your current employer. Make sure that you don't violate any contract agreement, because sometimes companies, they do really take action and you don't want to get yourself into trouble. Because if you get into trouble, that can be the most discouraging for you in your journey in your entrepreneurship. So just do take note, don't get yourself into trouble.
Correct. And I feel that it's ethically not right lah. I mean, like
Yeah,
to
yeah.
just leave your company and steal the clients from your ex company.
Mm,
So I mean, the industry is very small lah. Be it whatever industry you're in, I think it's very small. That that after a while your name will be there lah. So everybody will know that, oh, this guy does this kind of things. It's
mm.
not very nice for yourself also lah.
After a while, people start to feel that you're not a very ethical person, and then things just go around, and then it's not very good.
Correct, correct.
Mm. Yep. Okay, sure. So if let's say we were to sum it up, right, maybe into 2 or 3 words, how would you describe your life as an entrepreneur?
I think as an entrepreneur, I constantly wear many different hats.
Mm,
So one day I have to be the accountant. I have to be the finance department. One day I have to be the creative director. Another day I can be the production manager. So I think as an entrepreneur, you have to be very hands-on. You have to be hands-on and fulfill many roles. Yeah, I think that is something you can't get to experience while being in an employed company. Yeah.
I see, I see. Or sometimes we just feel that we have been thrown into uh, this situation where everything we gotta do. I mean, after we start a business, then we realize that shit, I gotta do accounting. Now I got to do that quotation format, which all this while we don't even have to worry about it because we are using somebody else's format. Then now we got to create our own. I
Exactly.
remember when I first started my own business, right? It took me 2 days to decide what format I want.
Yes. Yeah, you have to fill the shoes of whatever role you are in.
Mm.
So you kind of learn on the job lah. Every day has a new learning curve lah. So yeah.
I see. Okay, sure, fantastic. Maybe we'll just do a quick wrap up over here.
Mm,
Maybe before we end the session, right?
mm.
Do you have anything that you want to share with our viewers? Maybe perhaps you might want to share one product or one service that you are doing, and you would like to say, if let's say our viewers are interested in your products or services, we can actually provide the link down below so that they can get in contact with you and then perhaps purchase your service or your products. And if you have got a promotion, do share with us as well.
Yeah, so okay, so at Black Mongrels, we are a creative agency that deals in branding, graphic design, and advertising.
Mm,
So I think during this COVID-19 period, I think every industry is being affected. So I think I mean, I would like to help out as much as everyone as I would like to help out everyone as much as possible lah. So I think since I have this opportunity, maybe I think I can allow free creative consultation,
sure.
free creative consultation to people who like like my like my Facebook and IG page.
Mm, okay,
Yeah.
sure.
So for viewers who like and for viewers who like both my IG and Facebook page, do drop me a PM or DM. Then I'll get in touch with you and provide you with a free creative consultation.
Sure. So what we'll do is we'll probably assist you to do up kind of a simple landing page where our viewers will be able to go to the landing page, and if they fill out the form, they will actually send an email directly to you, and then you can respond to them directly, and then you can take the discussion offline, and then y'all can go ahead and see what you guys can do and make happen. Would that be okay?
Yes.
Sure. So, viewers, if you want to get discounts and promotions from How and the Black Mongrels, please go and like the Instagram page, right, as well as the Facebook page, and then send an inquiry to How, and How will follow up with you. So I guess that's about it. Is there anything else that you would like to share, Hao? If not, then maybe we'll end the session for the day.
Yeah, I think that's all. And thanks for this session. I mean, thanks for this sharing session with Ken. I think it's very insightful lah. How yeah.
Thank you so much for joining us. Thank you so much, Hao. So that's the end of the session. I'll see you guys again. Thank you so much. Bye bye.
Thank you. Bye bye.
Bye bye.